Hey everybody, this is Emar Sopertu. Welcome to another edition of the Fighting Peaches as we preview the upcoming week of college football action in the state of Georgia. As always, if you want to follow everything that we do, by the way, we're recording this on September 24th, 2021. And as always, if you want to follow everything that we do, head to the mothership to sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can head to that site right now and see our exclusive interview with Jordan Vasili from Georgia State Football. We were able to speak with them for an interview earlier this week to preview the upcoming contest that they have against Charlotte, which is going to be previewed a little bit later on the show. But we were able to speak with them and get some content there. You can also see our items on Sunbelt Football, which is the conference that Georgia State is in. So, and we'll also do some NFL content as well. We do a preview and recap of every week of action in the NFL. So if you want to go beyond the scope of Georgia college football, you can head to the site and see all of that stuff. You can also go to our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under Sports Inquirer. And then finally, go to our audio and video hosts such as YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. Do a search on there under the Sports Inquirer. Find us there, and you'll be able to see everything that we have going on. So Georgia State enters this contest against Auburn, 1-2 on the season. They were able to get their first victory of the 2021 campaign with a 20-9 victory over Charlotte last week. The Georgia State was able to pile up 282 yards of rushing and just to dominate on both sides of the line to secure the victory. And I say dominate both sides of the lines. They rushed for 282 yards and limited Charlotte to only 274 total yards, which is a seventh lowest figure in Georgia State history and the lowest since holding Louisiana Monroe to 262 yards in 2018. So here is head coach Shawn Elliott of Georgia State reflecting on the victory.
It was a performance that I was very pleased to see. I thought our defense played a fantastic ball game. They really did. He shut down Charlotte. I think they had 276 yards of offense and really kind of just took control of that game from the onset and let us kind of find our way offensively and until we could get some points on the board. But they really, just played, it was just great to see. And we had played two tough opponents, and Charlotte was coming in here with a lot of momentum. They just beaten Duke. They just beaten Gardner-Webb. They're 2-0. They're feeling really good. They got that feel good feeling over there on their sideline, running up and down, and we really took it to them. So I was pleased to see that.
And a big part of the contest was the change in starting quarterback. He replaced Cornelius Quad Brown with junior transfer Darren Granger, the transfer from Furman. He got his first start of the season and for his career at Georgia State. Had a solid effort. Threw for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns while rushing for 64 yards. His touchdown passes were to Jamari Thrash and to Jasiris Querido. So those are big situations for him to execute on. Here is Coach Elliott on Granger getting that start and just the overall accountability that he tried to install to the team as far as starting positions.
Yeah, Darren, early on he missed some deep shots. They were pressing up on our guys, and I didn't feel like they should have been able to do that, and we just missed some overthrows right there that I thought would be some big long gainers, safe long gainers, I call them, and we missed them early on. And then he settled in, and I think it was the third or fourth series. We gave him 2 more shots at it, and I kind of tipped this to Cradle because that first one he threw to Cradle, he made an unbelievable shot. I mean, when I say he just going out and he willed himself to catch that football. Pass wasn't a great thrown ball by any stretch, but he makes that catch, and then you could kind of see it. It's almost like, okay, yeah, I got one caught, and it was a marvelous catch, and let's go right back. And he threw that nice ball to Thrash, and then he all settled in, and he did everything we asked of him from then on out. It was really good that our defense played so great because we were able to manage the football game and control the line of scrimmage running the football and not really asking Darren to do anything that to make him uncomfortable. He hadn't played in a long time. He really hasn't played in a long, long time. I think in 2019 was the last time he played. He only started 4 games there at Furman, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So we were just trying to work him in there nicely, but I thought he did a good job. He had a great confidence about him. Our players, I look at the quarterback position is a little crazy, well, especially for me, because I see what other people are kind of how they're reacting to his play, or when he comes off the sideline, how they respond to him. Excuse me. And they were responding quite well to him, and I was pleased with him. So yes, he's in line to start again this week. We're going to, of course, go out there, and it's just like every week. I told Hayes, our punter today, I said, if you don't perform, then we're looking to find somebody that can do that. And I tell everyone that. And so we all need to understand that. It's no different if I'm not performing at my job. It's just that's nature. So we're always searching for bigger and better things, of course, and we'll certainly try to find that. But right now, he's in line for it.
Yeah, and after their opening loss at home to Army and losing at North Carolina in pretty distinctive fashion, both those contests are really no contest at all. Georgia State made some changes, shook some things up, also dealing with some injuries to several of their key players on both sides of the ball, led to just a shakeup of the roster and the lineup. And you heard him talk about that as well, as far as with just make some changes to things going on with the team. So this will be the conclusion of the non-conference slate for Georgia State. As I mentioned, they lost their season opener at home to Army and then lost at North Carolina. Were able to rebound last week with a home victory on the 18th over Charlotte. And this Auburn contest, Auburn comes in nationally ranked, coming off of some victories. They knew they lost their that game at Penn State 2 weeks ago, but were able to rebound and get a victory last week. So this is a big contest for Auburn. They want to keep their, I don't say national championship opportunities up, but this will be a good way for them with a victory to keep their season progressing as they roll into SEC play. But here is Coach Elliott on the non-conference slate and what he's looking to accomplish with these matches.
I mean, when you look at our non-conference in our first 4 games, I truly had, to be totally honest with you, I thought the Charlotte game would be a really good sign of who we are. I mean, you face an Army team, and it's a little different. I mean, it is. I mean, coaches may say it's not, but it's a different element when you play that bunch. And then you go play North Carolina, in North Carolina, and they've got some talented skill players. And like I said, they got a great quarterback, and we saw that, and they still do. I mean, it didn't change my mind. And then you kind of come back and you say, all right, this is a measuring. This past Saturday was a kind of a measuring stick for us where we are. See who we kind of matched up with. And I thought Charlotte was a good contest coming in, and I thought it was a good contest coming out. So we'll see. We still have one more non-conference game. It is Auburn. I'm not going to sit here and lie. They're bigger and they're stronger and they're faster. But we're still going to go out there and push them, and see what we can do. There's no different. But after our 4 contests, we're going to kind of really know exactly what we're made of. And we're probably to the point that we do. I think we can, against our level of competition, I think we can match up pretty good defensively. And I think as we continue to grow offensively, we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping track of that contest all throughout the day. We'll do some live tweeting. It's on the SEC network, so I can watch it for free or relatively free. But we'll be keeping track of that entire deal. Georgia, second-ranked team in the country, goes to Vanderbilt this upcoming Saturday. I'm a Vanderbilt alma mater. I love my Commodores, love my squad, but this will be a very, very tough contest for Vanderbilt. I think the line is 35 points. That's an interesting line. I don't know if that actually might be achieved. Vanderbilt's had a very slow start to the season. Lost at home to ETSU. Were able to win against Colorado State, their second game of the season, but just but lost to Stanford pretty handily last week. So Vanderbilt with Coach Lee, a new head coach there, really in a major rebuild mode for that squad. Georgia 3-0 on the season. We know how they've done so far. Won the season opener win at Clemson, defeated UAB, won last week. They're on a playing really well right now. So I think you're interesting to see what they do at quarterback. Obviously, JT Daniels is their incumbent starter, but he's dealing with injuries. We'll see if Stetson Bennett gets time. We'll see what they do in the quarterback position, but they can really just run every single play and defeat Vanderbilt pretty handily. And I think you'll see a lot of that. So really no worries, I think, for Georgia as they go into that contest. Georgia Tech is facing a nationally ranked team themselves. They're hosting North Carolina at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so they're not going to be at the Flats and playing that contest there. This is the first of, I think, 5 games or 6 games that Georgia Tech is going to play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is where home stadium of the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United, among other teams. I know Notre Dame was supposed to be last year, but the pandemic prevented that. But this contest against North Carolina, North Carolina, we saw them up close and personal against Georgia State last week. High expectations. We have Sam Howell, a Heisman Trophy candidate, and you return the talent that North Carolina did from last year. A lot of high expectations for the Tar Heels, but Georgia Tech they have some positive vibes coming into this contest. Losing that season opener against Northern Illinois at home was not a good scenario. Northern Illinois was a double-digit underdog, lost that contest, but rebounded against Kennesaw State at home, able to get some things going. And then at Clemson last week, lost by one possession. The thing with Georgia Tech is maybe came into the season with Jeff Sims, had a solid freshman campaign. They looked at him as the starter of the team and a guy that can really develop and grow. He was injured in that Northern Illinois contest with a shoulder injury. Jordan Yates came into the contest, made it interesting, and played against Kennesaw State, and then played this last contest against Clemson. And the offense, it looks better than it did when Sims was in that contest to start off that Northern Illinois contest. So we'll see what happens there. I think Yates is still the starter. I haven't received any word that's going to be contrary to what I'm saying, but we'll be keeping track of that contest as well as things progress. I look at the rest of the slate. Not really a good week nationally for college football. I know Notre Dame is playing Wisconsin at Soldier Field in Chicago. I think for those two teams, I think are maybe top 20 teams. Both of them do not inspire me as far as the national landscape. I know Notre Dame's undefeated 3-0 on the year, but I don't think that they are national championship caliber. But the scenery will be interesting. It's in Chicago, a big Notre Dame hub. I've been to Chicago, I've visited. I know Notre Dame is a big presence there. Really, any Big Ten team is a presence there. Wisconsin, they travel. So it'll be a good atmosphere. And as far as the game, I mean, you got to think Notre Dame probably has more talent. I know the former quarterback for Wisconsin is now starting at Notre Dame, so there's a little bit of intrigue there, but it'll be on TV. It's noon on Fox. I'll give it a watch, but not too much there. Arkansas hosts Texas A&M, two nationally ranked teams. Arkansas comes in 16th in the nation. Texas A&M is 7th. People were saying that if anyone can unseat Alabama in the SEC West this year, Texas A&M could be that squad. But Arkansas has been played really well this year. They beat up on Texas, which maybe looking back, we may not think is that impressive of a win. But you got to give credit to Arkansas and staying undefeated and bringing that identity of running the ball and being physical on the line of scrimmage, and that's carried over very well. I think Texas A&M ultimately wins this contest, but I think that's something of intrigue to watch. Upset alert a little bit. North Carolina State hosts Clemson. The Wolfpack can put up some points and score, but I think Clemson, I know they didn't look by Clemson standards, look great against Georgia Tech, but ultimately I think they find a way to get that victory. And I'm just going down the line. While Tennessee and Florida, that used to be the game of the SEC, at least on the East, and had national implications. before I started college at Vanderbilt, but in the mid 90s, I started college in 1999. But even 99 and 2000, I mean, that was a contest that both teams would come in ranked top 10 nationally, and it had significant relevance to things on a national scale. Now, Florida has won at least the last five contests against Tennessee, and the Vols are got another coach in Heupel. They just keep going through these coaches and trying to figure things out. So we'll see what happens in that contest. Florida should win that, I think, not easy, but I don't see Florida wins that contest by double digits. And that's really the slate as far as the national scale goes, as far as what we see in college football. But make sure you go to the site and keep track of all the stuff we have going on, because we're going to have all the post game recaps of those contests with teams from the state of Georgia. And that concludes everything. Thanks for listening. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.